But yeah, Sean, Bax, Juicy Boy, how y'all doing today? You having a dope Saturday? Also, Sean, do you still have to do like your giant ass walks? I remember when you used to have your giant walks. They were cool. Oh fuck! This is where we got to, wasn't it? I had to fight this fucking fridge, and it was really strong. Maybe I should come back to the fridge once I've actually leveled up somewhat.
Jesse?
You can do it? Alright, we can do it then. No worries.
I'm back. I'm coming in.
Thank you. Jesse?
That punch.
The fridge is doing something!
You did it without any health upgrades? Yeah, but this is me, not you. You believe me too, Juicy? Alright, we got this then. We got this.
It hurts me.
Oh yeah, I've got to throw its balls back in its mouth. That was the trick with this one, wasn't it? Kablooey!
Sounds like the board, but I can't understand it.
Maybe a few target practice shots would hurt. Hey, my shooting's perfect. It's more just me trying to catch the black balls and get it back in his eye hole. See, like there, like, don't grab the dirt, you dumb shit. Grab the fucking balls. Damn it, and he hits me straight for it. Pop, Mojo BB, how you doing, my man? We believe in your inevitable fridge death. Well, there you go. You believed in me, and you got your justice hurts. And thank you for the host there, my man.
With exterior atmosphere.
Yeah. Also, so people, oh, it'd actually just be Mojo and Bakura at the moment. I already know what Bojo? Or do you know what Mojo's, Bakura's internet provider is? Mojo, who are you with, internet-wise? I might have to change, and I don't know if anyone else is decent or not.
Hello?
I'm with Virgin at the moment, but they're like wanting to charge me way, way too much.
Phil? If I look away, it hurts me.
You're with Plus now? Okay. How are they? I've heard, like they are a bit of an up-and-comer.
This sounds like the board, but I can't understand it. Fuck?
Hi-yo! Yeah, so spit your dirty eggs at me. See, it just pisses me off. I can't always grab the one I want to grab. Like, sometimes I'll try and grab it when it's closer, and it'll be like, nah. Try and grab it when it's further away. Nah. Fucking hell. Give me the fucking thing I'm aiming at, man! Like, honestly, why can't I just grab the thing that I'm actually aiming at? Why does it have to be so random about what I grab? Can I have some health? You're meant to move, you prick. He moves every other time. He stayed in the exact same fucking spot. This guy's a dickhead. Aren't PlusNet the ones from the future? There is a white outline, whatever you will grab. Really? I haven't noticed where. I was happy with Virgin, but then he moved here and had to get a BT line. BT was shit and a massive rip-off. PlusNet, who are owned by BT, was cheaper and more reliable. They jacked up the prices over the years, though, and now they gouge him like a mofo. Yeah, that's it. Well, Virgin want me to pay like 51 quid, and I spoke to them and they could get it down to like 46, but I could get way cheaper from other places. It's just not quite as good internet kind of thing. But yeah, lots of times I wanted to grab a missile, but got exploded. Yeah, it's well annoying. Like, that's the only thing I'd say about this is like the actual grab mechanic, which is really cool, needs to just be a bit more like accurate, man. Hey, and Carl baby, how you doing, dude? So yeah, like you see on the computer, yeah, fair. I get that. That's fair, but It's just harder to see when you're actually fighting and when the black ball already has a white outline. Yeah. It's thinking of Skynet. Yeah, you're thinking of Skynet. You Terminator ones, yeah. Skynet aren't an internet company, but they are. There is companies called Skynet.
If I look away,
I used to have one come to my old workplace a lot. Oh, they might be internet, actually. Or something. They weren't AI, at least, because they were helping. They were delivering stuff to a health insurer that I used to work for.
Sounds like the board, but I.
You keep getting calls from telemarketers telling you to switch to KyoNet. And KyoNet's good. That's what I'm going to say. It's just good. See, look, it's hard to tell you've got that because it's already got a fucking white outline around it. Like, there's already a white outline around that, so it's a bit more, like, annoying, you know? Oh, now he's over there. Should have re-wasted that. Come on. I didn't have any healy-feelies. Damn it. I was hoping if you just keep running on that, it maybe will be a bit nicer on us. Fuck! Goddamn holes, man! That's the furthest I've got against that dude as well. I think you can probably shoot the balls, but they seem to be the most powerful thing to hit him with. Like, it definitely seems like the balls are the best thing to hit him with. It's just trying to figure out where the fuck he smashed the floor up already, the dickhead. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, this guy should just stop moaning and get on with his job, you know? At least he's got a job. The recession out there, man. People losing their jobs left, right, and centre. And this guy's moaning because he has to look at a fridge.
Philip?
Could shoot the first two and use the third.
If I look away, it hurts me.
Thing is, when we look at it, it takes us into a world where it tries to murder us. So I don't see how looking away or looking at it makes any difference, really. It's just a bit of a dickhead fridge.
Sounds like the board, but I can't understand it. The fuck?
Motherfucker. Motherfucker. No, what's happening? I just wanted to press Q. Okay. Okay. No shit. God damn. Maybe I should try a different gun as well. Like, this one takes quite a long to load. Although it's kind of, it seems effective with the actual, like, bomb side of it. Shit. Okay. So if I can just try to, like, always get it to slam its tentacle spider leg thing at, like, on just one side of the place, then I could try and keep a track of that a bit better.
Philip?
I didn't change my fucking gun. Yeah, Shatter's not really a good one for this one. Maybe I'll just go for just a standard grip. Yeah, I think I'll just standardly unload at the fridge spider.
It hurts me.
Pew! See, that works out pretty well, right? Do you reckon these are the spiders David Bowie was trying to warn us about? I can't see how it wouldn't be. Did I die away quick enough? I don't know if I died away quick enough. Okay, so there's a hole there. Fucking hell. It's hard to see this motherfucking head. I missed. Oh! Oh, you son of a bitch. I thought I'd got that in time. Fuck! Fuck! I was so close, man. I wasn't expecting fucking, like, God of War style bosses on this game. I thought we'd just go around and do weird shit. I didn't think there'd be like proper boss fight skills. Okay. Well, as far as I can tell, the best way to avoid those legs is by doing the drift, like doing dash or like guard. So that does like a teeny bit. That does quite a lot, but I can hold that. I reckon it's still better to just do that and keep walking, because even when I dash, sometimes he still catches me. I haven't, and that's actually a good point. I've been really mean to it. I haven't been nice to it at all, Juicy. No.
The fridge is doing something.
I'll try it your way, Juicy. Hey, fridge!
If I look away, it hurts me.
This is better though. Why? I'd much rather have a slight migraine than be in a spider world.
I can't get out, and I can't look away.
You can get out. Watch this.
Maybe I can cleanse it.
Watch this. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough. They do fully kill you. I am losing all of my upgrade points here, but science. Okay. I just want to see if there was, you know, we were all being dumbasses by just believing that we couldn't leave the fridge. But it seems pretty reliable, that information now.
Hello?
Hey, Phil.
Jesse? Jesse?
Hey, Phil.
The fridge is doing something.
Don't worry about it, Phil. Or does he prefer lip?
Philip?
Oh, lip Gallagher.
If I look away, it hurts.
Scar. Maybe the trick on this one is to not look at where the spider is. Like, you're not meant to look away from the fridge. Maybe I'm not meant to look at the spider. Hey, spider, you're looking real beautiful today from what I've seen. I didn't mean to just shoot you. I did mean to shoot you. That's a lie. Hang on. Let me change my guns, because... Oh, no, it's still the right one. I just haven't... Oh, fuck me. Why did I do that? Wrong button. Oh, fuck you. Oh, no, he's doing his thing. I wasted that. No, don't turn it off, you daft mare. There's no beam of light showing through that hole either. Some holes show the beam of light, some don't. Fucking all marks, mate. Right, fucking wrong ones. Fucking knuckles. Catching and dropping them might be useful. Yeah, that did seem good, but then I'm using more energy. Plus, I don't know how to just drop them compared to throw them. It's more when I've fucked up, I seem to drop them.
Hello? Jesse? Jesse? The fridge is doing something!
This guy's always blaming others for his issues.
Philip?
Yeah, like, yeah, putting them down is purely accidental at the moment. I don't know how I've managed to do that. I mean, if it wasn't for the holes in the floor, I think I would be able to do this quite easily. It's just the holes in the floor, and they don't always show you that white light underneath it. Like that last one, he bashed me whilst it was my fault in a way. I did go towards the hole
Sounds like the board.
that he'd already smashed,
Can't
but
understand it.
you know.
Fuck.
Oh shit! You're way closer than I thought you were going to be. Come on, bro. Oh, shit. Oh, fucking hell, stop going where I don't want you to be. Oh my god, double action, hey? Oh my god, triple action, hey? More action, hey? Fucking hell. I mean, he just battered you at that point. God damn it, man. God damn, this guy's a dickhead. I didn't expect boss level fights like this far in, like this just randomly in the game, man. We've been just doing loads of, like random throwing people into people. This one's especially annoying though when the fucker doesn't move. Like it'll just spawn at the same point, so I can't get to the health things that I've unlocked from it already. That last bit's gonna be a cunt though. I'm guessing that last bit, going into brick mode isn't the best mode because I can't shoot whilst in brick mode.
Philip?
He does, yeah, no, he does. He goes down and moves side to the different sides, yeah.
If I look away.
Well, that's what he'd been doing, like, for other times for me. Like, he'd be switching sides and stuff, so I could then, like, run to get my health from the other bits. This one, he just, yeah, he doesn't seem to always want to move. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he hasn't been moving. Like, he just keeps staying on the same spot for a lot of this as well, which is really annoying. Oh, that's really fucking close as well. Like, he shouldn't come back out there. Yeah, see? That's what should be happening. Oh, he's behind me, isn't he? Oh, come on, man! Oh, I keep forgetting I can float. Can he hit me in the air if I'm floating? I keep forgetting that float's an option. And he can hit me in the air when I'm floating. Or floating is an option. Either way, we'll try that.
You suck!
I am starting to agree with that, yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Jesse?
Shut the fuck up, Philip. I don't even care. I don't even care about Philip anymore. Shit.
Philip?
Philip.
If I look away,
Philip's a dickhead. He should have just carried on his job, like every other person in that goddamn building. But no, he had to moan that his shift had technically was over, like, and he had been keeping his eyes open fixed at one object for over 24 hours. Like, we don't all do that.
understand it. Fuck?
Dormammu, I have come to bargain. Okay. So, rumor has it, I've just been an idiot. Oh, got me a little bit there. Oh shit. Actually, it's got me pretty well so far. I'm actually doing terrible on this, but I need more health. That's my big issue right now. Oh, I can't get up there. Oh fuck, I wasn't actually where I thought I was. Oh shit, now I can't see. Oh no, that wasn't great. Ah! Okay, that's definitely my route forward though. Flying and trying to hit this guy is probably easier. Okay. Fucking Philip. Fucking Philip! Philip made the game crash. Fucking Philip. Honestly. Who names their kid Philip? No offense to anybody called Philip, since you all have dumb names like Fizzle. Okay, let's try this again. Fucking Philip, man. First of all, he can't watch a fridge. Who can't look at a fridge for a few hours? I mean, then he disappears whilst on the job. You know, like I told him I was going to get him help. Dude just fucking leaves his shift apparently halfway through it. And now we have to fight a giant spider. Philip's a liability. Yeah, don't be Philip. Come in. Like 12 more times, I reckon I got this now. Yeah. Okay, I'll float about. I'll float like a butterfly. I'll sting like some sort of bazooka. And we'll make out like some sort of crab kings. So I'm taking my socks off. Put my socks on. Like just some ankle ones on. It's too warm. Too warm for even socks at the moment. God damn. Come on, game. I believe in you. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! No, shut the fuck up! He doesn't know I'm there. That soundproof glass, and I hadn't turned on the machine. He doesn't know I was there. He's just randomly shouting her name. Yeah, fuck off, Philip. Fucking waste, man.
if I look away, it hurts me.
If I keep playing this mission over and over again, it hurts me. But apparently I'm not allowed to leave that, Jesse. So, fucking Cara the fuck Watson up. And let's do this.
Like the board, but
I'm only been called Philip right now. Jeez. Sucks teeth at Philip. I'm sucking my lip at him. I bade my thumb at you, sir. Yeah, get out of here, you little bitch. I can float with that on. That's actually cool. I didn't know we could do that. That's pretty sick. I was trying to zoom over here. Oh, fucking throw it! Oh, I ain't got enough power. And I'm just standing there and letting this thing kill me, apparently. That's just how I do now. Oh, he's over here. Fuck. Fuck. I thought he was about to hit me. I haven't learned the audio cues. Anybody know any songs about anyone called Philip? Oh, there is Fat Lip, I guess, by Sum 41. That could be about just a fat dude called Philip. We don't actually know.
Hello?
Dunga dun dun, dunga dun dun. Wait, no, that's In Too Deep, isn't it? Yeah. How's Fat Lip start again? I can't remember how In Too Deep starts. Shit. No, I remember how In Too Deep starts. I can't remember how Fat Lip starts. Oh well, fuck it. It came out like 20 years ago.
It hurts me.
I'm Johnny and the condom. No, that's still In Too Deep, isn't it? I'm thinking of. I don't know. I don't know if the song even exists anymore.
This sounds
Thank you,
like
Bax.
a board, but
It's 2
can't
seconds.
understand it.
Nevertheless, in my dress for the occasion, it's number 32. Now here's the situation. With the P, move your feet, then don't change the station. You're leaving on a permanent vacation. Well, I'm a disaster. A microphone master. Put on the tape, a rock, and get a blaster.
This is just like cringe shit to be fair, this intro, but. Oh no, I was singing. Oh, that's what I was doing for it. So what's the intro to In Too Deep? Who cares? Who cares anymore? Let's just kill spider bitches. Go for it. Alright, Stream Raiders, I'll be with you in a moment, my love. Oh, I dashed a bit too late there. Fuck. Oh, he got me a little bit. Oh shit, I'm right by a thing. Oh, I was gonna grab that one. Oh man, I just did that bad timing. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh shit. Ah, I missed that last one. Ah, come on! It's dun 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 dun. Hi, Mikey.
Remember today, little brother? Today?
Fizzle sucks. Yeah. Alright, well, let's have a little fight on here first. And then we'll get to it. Okay, okay. You listened to Bomb Trap like 2 hours ago? Bomb Trap's such a sick riff, man. Like, it was one of the first like riffs I learnt off Rage, and it was such a satisfying one to nail down as well. It's quite like a, you know, simple like blues riff, but goddamn, that when you hit that felt fucking sick. When you were learning it and you got the doo like the little hammer on off, that felt fucking great as a like learning guitar, being like, yeah, bitch, use my riff now. Okay, so what was the other ones I got to do on this? Two Musketeers. Somebody clearly doesn't read their things much. That was definitely more than two Musketeers. Was that a Musketeer? I can't really... Yeah, it was. Gimme. Yeah, there we go. Little bitch. Okay, talking a little bitch. Let's get back to this. Cara Watson, this is your moment. If you're in a 90s girl group right now, this would be your #1 hit.
The fridge is doing something.
Philip?
Time to level up from Cara Watson to Shania Dion, the ultimate pop singer.
If I look away, it hurts me. This sounds like the board, but I can't understand
It'd also be cool on these sort of fights, when they know you've done it for the 6 millionth time, if they could like if they could skip the dialogue, man. Yeah, fuck you. Go home, Roger. Oh, I can't go up there now. Fuck. I wasn't actually sure if he was going to hit or move. Sometimes he moves on those ones, doesn't he? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Fucking let go of that rock, you daft cow! Shit, that was me. I was actually the cow. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, this one's not my winning run. Spiders ain't shit but hoes and tricks. As I said that, I had to quickly scan around the room in case this is like a diversion tactic. You throw a big old giant spider whilst the little ones come and just nibble at your feet. Everyone check your feet. Make sure they haven't been nibbled by camel spiders. Okay. Let's do this. I'm fucking fed up of this spider cunt. Let's do this.
Hello?
Fuck you, I nearly called him Trevor.
Jesse?
Trevor Phillips, that's what I was thinking. Trevor Phillip Industries, isn't it? Yeah. But Philip, you ain't no Trev. So hush your blow. Let's just go in this way. There's some nice drawings on the fridge. Wasn't there a game based on a fridge that you couldn't look away from? Was that made based on this, or did this take that? Because maybe it was a scary copy pasta type thing, but like, yeah, I definitely remember there being a. I definitely remember, was it like Markiplier or somebody playing that game? Oh, that's super close to me. Oh shit, I actually wanted to still be on here. Oh shit! Oh shit. Oh shit! Oh shit!
no Black Pyramid.
Did we finish it? It still had... Oh. It still had high
Seems
health
fixed.
left on mine.
Did fighting that thing off change something?
Fuck you, giant spiders in the fridges. That one didn't even feel like that much of an accomplishment. More, it's just like, fuck, that's done. But where's our mate? So speak from at the entrance? Did you straight leave a shift? Because I'm at the... Oh, well, I'm not straight at the... Oh, the Panopticons. I am at the Panopticon. So just gotta go to the other one? I'll take the lift down, because might as well. Let's check. But thank fuck, man. Before you went to bed the other night, you caught one of those ceiling bastards that descended like Spider-Man. You feel like by killing it, you saved Chubb from a horrible surprise. Too fucking right, man. Last, well, I've had some giant spiders recently. Not this one, but the last week. I remember Cora was just going to bed on my settee. I walked into my bedroom, just saw a giant spider above my plug socket by my bed, and was like, it's going to get loud, mate. I have to get the Hoover out. Do not take your eyes away from the red fridge. I already have now, shit. Wake up in the middle of the night with a spider dangling above your face once. It was horrifying. Oh my god. Yeah, fuck that noise. Fuck that noise to Kingdom Come. I like that teleport's so much fucking quicker. So, okay, definitely behind me, sweet. Oh yeah, Langston's the old balding dude, yeah. You're right, mate. Because of you, I just lost a worker and a spider.
Go. Where's Philip?
Philip's gone. Something happened before I could get him out.
Now you're
Poor
gonna have to
Philip.
tell on your relatives.
He never did like fridge duty.
Who does?
But if you're here, then who's watching the fridge?
The fridge is fine now. I took care of it.
Yeah,
You don't just take care of altered items. What did you do?
we did. Went inside and fought a
I
spider.
touched it and wound up in the astral plane. This thing was in there. It was huge, had one big eye. Wasn't friendly.
Penis spider.
We've been getting reports from the astronauts lately about something fitting that
Astronauts,
description.
that's cool.
The astral plane is usually connected to our world through objects of power, not altered items. If this thing is linking itself to altered items, then it's clearly powerful. This may happen
It's clearly
again.
powerful. You made a man stare at it for like
Do you think
48
that
hours
thing
each time. So obviously it was,
Philip?
you know.
Must have been. The Panopticon is a dangerous place. The agents all know the risks.
Then why'd you work here?
Since you're some sort of altered item whisperer, I've got a list of others for you to corral.
Oh no, you can fuck yourself.
The hiss
I'm not
around
facing any more
which is left
penis
right,
spiders.
dead center. Here, start with these. I'll see if there are any others missing while you're gone. My life just got a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I don't like this Langston dude. He should be on fridge duty. Piece of shit.
I'll see you later, Langston.
I'll be here, like always.
So he wants me to go get the runaways. So cleanse a container. Oh, I was just about to read my other ones. Could you please go away, Hissnoids? I don't want fuck all to do with you, Hissnoids. Fuck off my screen right now. Get the fuck off my screen, Hissnoids. And it just switched me back to the... Oh, no, there we go. So... Cleanse and contain the moving letters. Cleanse and contain the hand chair. Cleanse and contain traffic light. Cleanse and contain Japanese paper lantern. There is a fair amount of exploration in this area. Okay. I'm guessing all of these are going to be long ones, but it's probably worth me doing this. Like, this obviously isn't the main story, is it? So it's probably worth me doing these. Because I want to do, like, I'm not going to do, like, the Bureau Alert type side missions, but I do want to make sure I do most of the normal kind of side quest type things. These are side quests, yeah. Oh yeah, let's do some of these quick. So this one, oh yeah, this one is to do with that. All right, because that's a pretty cool one. How many have I got? So I got 4 health spots. I could do one of those, and then I'd be few off still. Okay, that's a lot to save for as well. Siege duration to levitation duration. Actually, maybe I should get going on that. Because that would have helped me a bit more in that last fight if I could have done that a little more. Actually, no, I want more energy. Yeah, because like that would have been a lot easier if we could have darted a lot more. Let's go for the energy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, jukebox. Oh fuck. I've got so many side stuff to do now. Still got no house memory. I don't remember where to get it. Oh, we do have charge now, actually. So research section, maintenance section, maintenance section. Alright, abandon that one. Go for charge. And I believe this is charge, yeah. Alright, cool. So literally right in front of us, but is it higher up? I'm guessing it's the next level up. Or oh, hello. Oh, snippety snow. It's pretty good, you know. Do I not have enough space? Oh, how are you over? You were just there. That's a pretty shit one. I'll leave it bees. So, Japanese paper lantern, a traffic light, hand, chair, and moving letters. So that's not what any of them. What's this one? Just an egg basket? This one's a fan. This one's Harley Quinn's mallet. And this one is not a thing. Okay. Elevator going up. Take the paper lantern home. I was thinking about setting it free in the sky and polluting the world. Square Enix made a tweet earlier about how Final Fantasy VII Intergrade is out on the 10th. Oh, okay. What's Intergrade? Is it the second part of the game you've already bought? Yeah, that's it. A nice little gift for the aliens, and they'll be like, oh shit, a nice little cute Chinese paper lantern. That's cool. Must have been sent by the British. And no, it will be like, no, it wasn't Chinese, it was Japanese. But it was sent by the British. And they'll be like, cool, alright. That doesn't really make any difference, but lovely. And I'll be like, yeah. Shaka Khan. The replies are split between can't wait or fuck you, we can't play it. Oh, Integrated is the DLC for PS5 only. Oh, that's pretty fucked up. What, really? So, like, they haven't even given everybody the entire Final Fantasy remake yet. Like, they're still, because that's right, they're still, like, segmenting what you actually get from it, right, at the moment. But then they're giving out fucking PS5 players new content that y'all can't have, because, yeah, that's some straight bullshit. Okay, so it's only the traffic light that should be in here somewhere. Because, yeah, the others I just noticed a light in the medical wing, sealed fresh hall, and executive. But there should be one around here, in the Pantopticon. But this was just down to Matey's one. Although it does seem like demons just spawned in there. So maybe I am going to go that way? No, it's still saying it's, like, in the middle. Oh, maybe higher up again up there, yeah. Again, I keep forgetting I can do this shit. Alright, so we got Swan Lake over there. Hopefully it's one of the ones around there. I didn't trust a swan. Now I do. Wait, why is this here? Why can you not just walk through here? What the fuck's that about? So that's just a balloon. I didn't want them to see what I'm going to do. Okay, so balloons aren't Chinese lanterns. I know that. I know. You're a water cooler. Do a bubble. Do a bubble. Bubble eyes. Aww. You're just a crowbar. Nothing more, nothing less. And this was P6, so this is where our brother was kept, so it doesn't really matter. All we can do here is get new friends. Where are the paper lanterns around here then? I'm gonna put this dude on fridge duty. Cowbunga! Oh, well, shit. Well, his shift ended early, it's fine. Yeah, maybe there's something over this side? Did I check this side? Did I start from this side? No, I flew up, so I probably ran all the way back down that way. Oh, you can't actually... Right, okay. So, I mean, the Japanese paper lantern should be around here somewhere. Or is it just floating up? Maybe it's already gone into the air? Or maybe I'm going to get up there? Because there is ladders, but I can't levitate that high yet. Huh. Oh shit. No, I want you to stay on that. No, stop being a dickhead, Kara Watson. Oh, she can't go higher? Maybe I'm not meant to go higher. Excuse me. So it's like... Okay, somewhere. Okay, I don't think that necessarily has collisions, because our rockets went straight through it. Just need to be that little bit higher. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown that thing over at the duck. Oh, P6L. I was like, have I been here before? Yes, 100% I have. Yeah, I don't know where this paper lantern's meant to be then. Like, it's meant to be around here somewhere. And you said there's quite a lot to still explore around here, Bakura? Am I just, like, being dense? Am I need to get up there somehow? Because it does seem like there's another floor there, but, I'm not entirely sure how I get up there at the moment. Not entirely. I'm guessing that I can go into a few more objects worlds now. Not entirely. You didn't see first of all? What do you mean? Is that a lift? If it has a lift there, is there a lift somewhere else that I can bring back down? Oh yeah, no, that's the thing that I just helped to climb up to this bit in the first place, wasn't it? Right, shit. They're down there. Is that where I'm gonna be? I know they come randomly as well, but... Whoa! Shit. Yeah, I definitely need to get to the higher floor still, but I'm not quite sure how. I'm hoping we find out on our way, you know. So, Hiss distorted in the executive sector and just kill Hiss warped. We'll chug that one for now. So this isn't the highest I can go, is it? The highest I can go is by the cell. Shit, the upper panopticon. So maybe, yeah, maybe I'm missing something here. Because this is where we literally freed Matey from the fridge there. And then I think we can get this lift up to P6, but it's not there at the moment. Because I used it. But can I get up there? Oh. So that's the level I've been to, right? P6 cells still. Alright, actually, yeah. Hang on. I might as well go back. Whoa. Oh, shit. Let's just reset this. Oh, do we have to move this round, maybe? Because, like, this now leads to a brick wall. And I swear, one of the ones I was up at, one of the things, technically it's 8 levels to this, I guess. So maybe we need to move this entire thing around. I haven't seen how we would do that, though. I want him to live so he can be my Valentine, but it didn't seem like he wanted to be my Valentine. Maybe my Frankenstein. Oh, hello. Oh, shit. Okay. Cool. Cool. GG me. Well done, everybody. Let's pack this up. We've won this one. God fucking damn it. I fell all the way down here. Have I been down here? I don't know. Do we actually start on the first level or? Power punch. Is that security this way? Fortified unit 714. Oh, okay, so that's the mailbox. So we have started down. We have looked down here. Yeah, okay. It's DA. Yeah, maybe where I'm taking the elevators I've been missing floors? I don't really know. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's where security is, okay. Got him. Can't use like any of my actual powers here, really. Oh, come on. The game's crashed again. Man. I fucking hate Windows Store, man. The problem is because I'm playing this on the Windows Game Pass, anybody who plays Control through the Windows Game Pass is actually playing the developer version, not the full release. So we still have a fuckload of pictures. Which is quite annoying. You'd just be losing control of the game itself. Hashtag blame Fizzy. Blame Fizzy. Yeah, Fizzy sucks. That's it. Yeah, Fizzyco. Bastards. Absolute rotten bastards. Well, let's hope the glitch where it wasn't saving at least worked, so I don't come back to having to still fight the spider thing. So that'd be aggravating. Get a better computer, yeah, right. And just need to get a PS2. Pinnacle of gaming. Not Fizzy. Fizzy. Yeah, right, exactly. Fizzy. I wonder why they don't have any background music in the loading screen. Maybe not, you know, elevator music, but it's a little something. Okay, well at least it didn't not save. So that's something. So I gotta get higher and higher. And Stream Raiders is ready, so we'll get on that in just a mo. What the fuck? Who's shooting me with rockets so well? Fucking rocket man. I need that health. Wait, did everyone just die, or what happened there? Why do they keep spawning so much? Just let me explore, you bastards. I wonder if there is a floor I'm missing. Like, just by taking the elevator and the fast travels. But see, it's like here. It's here that makes me feel like I should be able to maybe turn this thing, because like this leads to a brick wall, whereas we could get potentially onto floor 5 if it connects there. So there must be something I'm missing to get higher up here, right? Oh, hello. Okay, see, this won't let me physically fly higher than this, so maybe I can't get to the maybe I can't get to that floor this way, because even like if I do it from here, I can get that high, and if I do it from there, I can get the same height. So it doesn't. I'm guessing I'm not allowed above that. I swear to God, just. But yeah, look. So if I do it again, it still won't let me go above that, even though I'm starting higher. So I'm guessing I can't get up to that level. So 5 is probably the highest level, so it must mean I've missed things on the previous levels in that case. There are some places you can't get to by walking. Yeah, I was assuming you'd have to do some like flying and whatnot. Maybe over here. But then we're just stuck at a fortified again. Okay. I could try that one though. Fuck is that? What was that noise about? What's just going on? What's about to happen? Oh, that one's got a green light, which means I should be able to get into it, right? It's giving me the green light. It's giving me the go-ahead, I think. Dip down a bit. Yeah, nice one. Oh, this was P6's cell. Wait, how the fuck did I get here then? Oh, because it actually lets you get into it over there. Okay, fair. That's the crowbar. We're back here. Okay, righto. I'm making no progress. So, I'm guessing I'll just descend each floor. I'm doing all this just to find that goddamn Japanese paper lantern, man. And these are just continuously spawning here as well, like, the fuck? Is it just because I'm walking through this area a lot that they're spawning? Because, like, they're spawning a lot here at the moment. I'm just trying to get my bearings about where the fuck to explore. It best fucking be a sweet as fuck lantern at this rate. Oh, come on, man! This is ridiculous! Just let me play the fucking game! This game's crashed so many times.